Now, the news with Moira Stewart.
74 people have been killed in a crush of spectators at this afternoon's FA Cup semi-final between Liverpool and Nottingham Forest at the Hillsborough ground in Sheffield.
We have chaos with fans on the field, I'm afraid to say. There are simply too many people in that end of the ground, and the crush has caused this enormous chaos.
One report says as many as 84 could be dead. It's the worst disaster in British football history. More than 200 other people were injured.
Lord Justice Taylor said in his report that football supporters would soon get used to sitting down, and it's apparent that they haven't.
He was asked to produce a report to say what were the causes of it and what recommendations he had to make for the future.
There were many contributory factors to Hillsborough, but ultimately it was blamed on poor crowd management.
What he didn't argue was that it was because people were standing. Those concerns that Lord Justice Taylor had are genuine concerns, and I understand entirely, but I don't think that safe standing precludes meeting all of the things that he wanted to achieve. You don't have to just do it by having all-seater stadia.
We recognise that in amongst all the hundreds or thousands of supporters that are currently standing will be people that are effectively forced to stand because of those around them, which simply isn't fair.
I think very many fans want that opportunity. I believe that it can be done totally safely. And I'm also deeply concerned that in a number of the all-seater stadiums that we now have, there is persistent standing of very large numbers of fans, and of course makes it difficult for those fans who want to sit to be able to see the game. So I think the time's come to have change if we can do it safely.
We look towards the continent Europe, and we've seen countless examples of safe standing areas in Germany and Austria and other countries, and supporters stand in those areas quite safely.
All but one stadium in Germany has standing places in the stadium. Borussia Dortmund is very famous because of this stand where we are now staying. It's the Südtribüne, the South Tribune. It has a capacity for 25,000 spectators. I think one of the biggest stands in the world. In former times, to 1999, the stand was half that size now. This one is the old one, the old part, since 1974. And above it, it's the new part since 1999. The difference is that there are mobile seats. We just closed these seats so you could stay in the Bundesliga. If we play an international game, we open these seats so that you could, or that you have to sit down. I don't like all-seater stadiums because it's officially an all-seater stadium, but if you are looking in the guest sectors and the away sectors, all the people are staying normally. So it isn't really an all-seater stadium, it's only a high-priced stadium. There are many examples in the past that if people want to make a riot, it's better to get a seat in your hand and to throw it than to have nothing like here.
Football fans are discriminated against in very many ways. I mean, you know, you've only got to look at the ridiculously high price of season tickets in this country for the top flight games, or the lack of facilities in many stadia for people with disabilities. Young people find it difficult to be able to go and see their heroes. And yet if you look at other sports, we see, for instance, top-flight rugby, standing is perfectly possible and can be done safely.
Tonight, Wembley's hosting an England friendly where those supporters will be sitting down, but at every pop concert Wembley hosts, they're standing in their tens of thousands freely without being directed to sit down by stewards.
If we have those fans who want to stand in one part of the ground, those who want to sit, family areas for example, in another part of the ground, we're more likely to persuade families to bring their children with them so that those youngsters can see their real football heroes.
And young fans are the future, for the club, so it's very important to still have them, not to watch football in the pub. That's not football for me. In Dortmund they have to pay 16 euros for the cheapest price here on this south stand. It's good for young people, but not only for young people. We have so many normal aged people also on the stand who couldn't afford the high prices on the main stand. So it's good for a club to have all kind of people here in the stadium, not only the rich one, not only the poor one. So it's place for everyone. And I think it's one of the social targets, I think, of a club, to bring all these people together.
The crucial thing is to make sure that we have a set of standards that really would demonstrate that if clubs introduce safe standing areas, they truly will be safe. So that's the first thing that needs to be done. And then the second thing we need to do is to give clubs who want to the opportunity to introduce safe standing areas. I don't think this is something we should impose on the clubs. It's for the clubs to decide in consultation with their fans.
We're campaigning very hard at the moment, working with Don Foster to ask the government to look again at the legislation which forces the grounds in the upper divisions to remain all-seater. Clearly there's a demand for it, as I said, and we believe this will benefit all supporters regardless of whether they wish to sit or stand.
I've spoken to many people, the Hillsborough survivors group for instance, who are very fearful of any change. But that's not based upon looking at the research evidence and the demonstration models that have now been produced of safe standing areas. So it's an emotional argument. And equally, politically, there is clearly a concern from government ministers who worry that if they're the ones who authorise this change, in some way or other they're going to have the Daily Mail and other newspapers attacking them for doing it.
I think that there's an underlying fear, although this has never been blatantly said to us, that for some reason some in authority equate standing to hooliganism, which a theory which we would robustly reject.
I think it's crucially important that we have the research evidence clearly made available, that we then have the Stadium Licensing Authority carry out detailed research themselves and come forward with clear safety criteria that would have to be met before any safe standing can be introduced. If we can do both of those things, then I think we can begin to win the public debate and get safe standing introduced.
If you'd like to support the Safe Standing campaign, go to our website, F for Football, S for Supporters, F for Federation.org.uk and sign our petition. Please also write to your MP and encourage them to support the campaign, and write to your football club and the football authorities and make it very clear to them that there is a demand for standing areas in this country.
I couldn't imagine football without standing. I've been sometimes to England, Champions League match in Liverpool, at Anfield. We were very disappointed because of the atmosphere in the stadium, because there were no atmosphere. Only if they sang You'll Never Walk Alone before the match, and one time during the match. That was great, that was really great, very loud, but the rest of the match it was very lousy. No atmosphere, they were very quiet. We were singing all the match, 90 minutes, and there was no response from them. It was nothing special. That wasn't Anfield like I think about it before. All of our dreams were broken. The home of football, the special English atmosphere, and there was just nothing.